Very, very good morning to all of you. Welcome back. So, I hope you guys have solved the questions of study material and past practice manual relating to process costing and joint and byproduct costing. So, today we'll be starting with a new chapter. Again, it's a part of method of costing. So, without wasting time, let's start with service costing. Very good morning, everyone. Very good morning, Mr. Vijay Raghavan. You were absent in the previous two sessions, I think. So let's start with service costing. So previously, we discussed one of the method of costing, that is process costing. This process costing was used by the companies wherein the raw material has to pass through two processes before being converted into final product. So this was one of the methods. Now let's start with the next phase, next chapter, wherein we'll be discussing service costing. As the name says, service costing. So this method of costing is used by the companies who are into service sector. This method of costing is used by the companies who are into service sector, and this technique is used to calculate the cost. So when talking about service costing, what is service costing? This method of costing is used by the companies who are into so this method of costing is used by the companies who are into service sector. For example, we can say transportation industry, hotel industry, hospital industry. We can say all the education institutions. Salon and wellness industry, etc. So service costing, to calculate the cost per unit of service, this method is used by the companies who are into service sector. For example, we can say this technique is used by the transportation companies, the hospitals, hotels, salons, education institution, theaters, etc., etc. Now, the major object of this service costing is to calculate the cost per unit of service. Let me discuss this concept with the help of an example. So let's say I'm into transportation industry and I do run a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. I do run a bus service. I'm into passenger transportation industry and I do run a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. The distance is 500 kilometers from Mumbai to Ahmedabad and the seating capacity of the bus is 50 passengers. Let's say the seating capacity is 50 Very good morning, Nisha. So I'm running a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. The distance one way from Mumbai to Ahmedabad is 500 kilometers and the seating capacity of bus is 50 passengers. Now let's take a first situation wherein there are no intermediate stop. बस मुंबई से शुरू होती है और सीधा अहमदाबाद पे जाती है. When talking about the cost per trip, let's say cost per trip is also given. Rupees 50,000. The cost per trip is also given, that is rupees 50,000. Now let's say there are no intermediate stop between Mumbai to Ahmedabad. There are no intermediate stop between Mumbai to Ahmedabad. मुंबई से शुरू होती है और अहमदाबाद पे जर्नी टर्मिनेट होती है. ना तो बीच में कोई भी इंटरमीडिएट स्टेशन आता है, वहां पे बस नहीं रुकती है. इट्स अ डायरेक्ट बस सर्विस. So herein in this case, I can easily calculate the fare to be charged from passenger. Let's say this is cost plus profit per trip. That is rupees 50,000. So if we are running a non-stop bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, it's very easy for us to calculate the fare per passenger. That is very simple. How much revenue I'm expecting? That is rupees. How much revenue I'm expecting? Rupees 50,000 I'm expecting. Since there are no intermediate stop and total 50 passengers are traveling, assuming that the bus is fully occupied in all the trips, there is a huge demand. So here, when talking about the seating capacity, I have a seating capacity of 50 passengers. So what we will do is, I'll be quoting the fare per passenger and how much fare I'll be charging from every passenger. Very simple, 1,000 rupees per passenger. I repeat again, I'm into transportation industry and I'm running a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Total 50 passengers. I mean, the seating capacity of bus is 50 passengers. Assuming there are no intermediate stations, I mean, there is no intermediate stoppage of, I mean, assume that कोई भी stoppage नहीं है, intermediately कहीं पे भी कोई भी station पे बस नहीं रुकता है. So now I have to quote the fare per passenger. So how much will be the fare per passenger? Very simple. I am expecting a revenue of 50,000. The seating capacity is 50 passengers. So I'll be quoting a fare of rupees 1,000 per passenger. Now let's take one more situation. Let's say Sakshi Jha approached me that I need the full bus on rent for a day from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Now in this case, I will not be quoting the fare per passenger because since she has taken the full bus on rent, I will not be quoting the fare per passenger. How I will be quoting the fare per kilometer. So herein, since Sakshi has approached me that I want a full bus on rent for a day trip from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, so what I will be doing is I'll be quoting her the fare per kilometer. That is, for every kilometer traveled, how much I'll be charging. So again, it's very easy for me to quote the fare to Sakshi. That is, total I'm expecting a revenue of 50,000. My distance traveled is how much? 500 kilometers. So how much fare I'll be quoting per kilometer? 100 per kilometer. Again, I repeat, guys, Sakshi has approached me that मुझे पूरा का पूरा बस रेंट पे लेना है. So I will not be quoting her the fare per passenger. I'll be quoting her the fare per kilometer. कि per kilometer मैं इतना चार्ज करूंगा, 500 kilometers चलिए या 510 kilometers चलिए, whatever it is. So herein in this case, I'll be quoting her the fare per kilometer, that is rupees 100 per kilometer. Now, let's take one more situation. So this is the very easy case where in Mumbai से अहमदाबाद डायरेक्ट बस जाती है. Very simple, I can quote the fare per passenger. अगर मुंबई से अहमदाबाद पूरी बस रेंट पे ले ली है by someone, then I'll be quoting her the fare per kilometer. Now, let's say the bus is taking halt at the intermediate station. Now, let's say the bus is taking halt at the intermediate station. Let's say Mumbai to Surat first, then Surat to Vadodara. Now the point is how I will be calculating the fare. That is a big question because herein मैं 1000 rupees fare charge नहीं करता कि नहीं आप मुंबई से चढ़े अहमदाबाद पे ही उतरिए आप बीच में भी उतरेंगे तो I'll be quoting the fare per passenger that is 1000 rupees. I can't because herein if a passenger traveling from Mumbai to Surat the fare will be different. Mumbai to Vadodara the fare will be different. Surat to Ahmedabad also the fare will be different. Let's say the distance from Mumbai to Surat is 150 kilometers. Surat to Vadodara, let's say 250 kilometers. Let's say from Surat to Mumbai to Vadodara, let's say the distance is 400 kilometers. And from Vadodara to Ahmedabad is remaining 100 kilometers. So distance from Mumbai to Surat is 250 kilometers. Mumbai to Vadodara it is 400 kilometers, and Mumbai to Ahmedabad, Vadodara to Ahmedabad it will be balanced 100 kilometers. Now the point is how to quote the fare. मैं 1000 rupees fare charge नहीं कर सकता. Reason being some of the passengers will be getting down at Surat, some of the passengers will be getting down at Vadodara. Then again Vadodara से कुछ लोग travel करेंगे जो अहमदाबाद travel करेंगे. Now the question is how to calculate the fare. See, if there are no stoppage between Mumbai to Ahmedabad, I can easily quote the fare per passenger. But yes, if there are any stoppage between Mumbai to Ahmedabad, now herein the number of passengers traveling are also important and the distance traveled is also important. Here in this case, the number of passengers, I have to quote the fare per passenger only. But again, distance will also play an important role. So herein there are two elements that are involved, that is the passengers traveled, because I'll be quoting the fare per passenger. Further, the fare will be dependent upon the kilometers traveled. So herein there are two factors that are responsible to calculate the fare. So what we will do is, initially, we'll calculate the fare per passenger kilometer. Initially, we'll be calculating the fare per passenger kilometer. So my expected revenue is 50,000 rupees. Since there are two elements, that is 50 passengers and kilometers also, that is 500 kilometers, we'll be considering the both. So we'll be getting the fare per passenger kilometer, that is the fare per passenger for every kilometer traveled. So this will be rupees 2. So rupees 2 is what? The fare to be charged per passenger per kilometer. So here now, once this rate is calculated, we can easily calculate the fare. So let's say for Mumbai to Ahmedabad, again, the distance is how much? Mumbai to Ahmedabad? Total 500 kilometers. So 500 into 2, that is 1000. Let's say Mumbai to Surat. I have to quote the fare per passenger per kilometer rupees 2. So the distance from Mumbai to Surat is how much? 250 kilometers. So 250 into 2, that is 5. Let's say Mumbai to Vadodara. Again, the distance traveled is how much? Mumbai to Vadodara 400 kilometers. So 400 into 2, it will be 800. Let's say Surat to Vadodara. See, Mumbai to Vadodara distance is 400 kilometers and Mumbai to Surat it is 250 kilometers. So it means Surat to Vadodara, it will be how much? 150 kilometers. So 150 into 2, that is 3. So अगर कोई बस मुंबई से स्टार्ट होती है और अहमदाबाद जाती है and it is taking halt at intermediate station, then we cannot apply these two methods. We have to apply this method only. So wherein only one factor is involved, we can call it as single unit. And if two factors are involved, we call it as composite unit. So this method is more practical and widely used. But when talking about this method is generally used when there are, when in first case, अगर कोई intermediate station पे stoppage नहीं ले रहा है, and second case, when you are taking the full bus on hire or full train on hire, whatever it is. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. So when talking about this part, it talks about single unit. And when talking about this part, this is what we call as composite unit. And this method is practically used by all the transportation industry, whether it is road transportation, whether it is passenger transportation, or whether it is, we can say, goods transportation. Further, here in this question, I'm assuming that the bus is fully occupied. The occupancy is 100%. Yes, Avinash, any doubts? Kadambari, Shweta, any doubts? I request you guys to please copy this explanation. It will be conducted after standard costing, Weber. Yes, Sushil, Shweta, any doubts? Avinash, Kadambari, any doubts? This part we call it as single unit. That is, if we have to calculate the fare per passenger, 50,000 divided by passengers traveled. If we have to calculate the fare per kilometer, 50,000 divided by 500 kilometers, so 100 per kilometer. Herein we are calculating the fare per passenger kilometer. So we'll be considering the number of passengers also and the distance traveled also. Good morning, Anmol. So there can be two bases to calculate the cost, that is single unit and composite unit. So when talking about transportation industry, single unit can be cost per ton, cost per passenger as what we have discussed, cost per ton, cost per mile, cost per kilometer, etc. When talking about composite unit, it can be cost per passenger kilometer, cost per ton kilometer, etc. So it can be cost per passenger, cost per ton, cost per mile, cost per kilometer. When talking about composite unit, it can be cost per passenger kilometer or cost per ton kilometer or cost per ton mile. Anything. I mean, anything is possible. I'll be discussing this part, Shweta. Now, next is, let's say, hotel industry. It can be cost per room, cost per day. And talking about composite unit, it can be cost per room day. In hospital industry, we can say, this is an illustrative list, guys. Cost per patient, cost per bed, and it can be cost per. So this is an illustrative list. I request you guys to copy this part. Else you can refer my notes also. See, hardly in any case these buses do carry goods. However, they are just using the past data to estimate and calculate the fare. That's it. Since they are into passenger transportation industry, so they generally are into like calculation of fare per passenger kilometer. They do quote the fare depending upon the cost per passenger kilometer. However, if they are transporting certain goods also, then they do randomly charge as per the industry standards. So herein, when talking about service costing, this method of costing is applied by those undertaking which provide services rather than production of commodity. This method of costing is used by transport companies, gas and water work department, electricity supplies company, canteen, hospital, theaters, schools, etc. Industry is concerned here in single unit and composite unit. When talking about transportation industry, it can be cost per ton, cost per passenger, cost per mile, cost per kilometer. When talking about composite unit, it can be cost per ton kilometer, cost per passenger kilometer, cost per ton mile. Hotels also cost per room, cost per day, cost per guest. And when talking about composite unit, it can be cost per room day, cost per guest day, hospitals, insurance, and education institutions. So you guys just can take a quick review of what I have shared. Thereafter, we'll start with the next part. See, we will be taking the average seating occupancy. See, if the seating capacity is 50%, we'll be taking the average occupancy. Herein, I have assumed Divya that the bus is fully occupied in all the days, but let's say if sometimes it is 60% occupied, sometimes it is 100% occupied, sometimes it is 70% occupied, then what the companies do, they do calculate the average occupancy. Let's say in question some information will be given in the question that the bus is occupied, I mean the occupancy is 80% on an average. So I have assumed here that the bus is 100% occupied on all the days. But yes, when talking about the practical approach, they do just figure out the average occupancy and accordingly they do charge the fare. One second, guys. Now, one more point I want to discuss. In transportation industry, the composite unit can be calculated by two ways. The composite unit can be calculated by two ways, that is absolute and commercial. In transportation industry, we do calculate these composite unit using two approaches, that is either absolute or commercial. When talking about absolute, it uses the weighted average approach. And when talking about the commercial way, I mean the commercial way to calculate composite unit, it calculates the approach is simple average. It uses simple average approach. Let me discuss this concept in detail with the help of an example. I'm discussing illustration number 1 of the study material. I'm discussing illustration number 1 of the study material. Manish sir, can you please check the material is approved or not? Manish sir, are you there? Admin sir, are you there? Admin sir, are you there? Let me check, guys. So let's start with illustration number 1 of the study material. I'll check, Ankur, just give me some time. So a lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. I repeat again, guys, I'm discussing illustration number 1 of study material. So a lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. It unloads 8 metric ton in station B and balance goods in station C. On return trip, it reaches station A with a load of 16 metric ton, loaded at station C. The distance between A to B, B to C, and C to A are 80, 120, and 160 kilometers. You are required to calculate, respectively, compute, we are required to calculate absolute metric ton kilometers and commercial metric ton kilometers. So let's start. We'll first calculate the absolute. So there are three stations, that is A, B, and C. So guys, whenever you see such type of question, I suggest you to prepare a diagram to calculate this ton kilometer or passenger kilometer. It will be very helpful for you and there are hardly any chances of error. So herein, the truck starts from A and it goes to B. From B, it goes to C. And in return journey, it is coming directly to A. So it starts with 20 metric ton from station A. From station A, it starts with 20 metric tons. From station A, it starts with 20 metric tons. However, it unloads 8 metric ton at station B. Station B पे कितना unload किया है? 8 metric tons. So the balance number of tons transported from B to C is how much? 12 metric tons. The balance goods that are transported from B to C is only 12 metric tons. In the return journey, they are saying that they carried only 16 metric tons, that is from C to A. Further, the distance between A to B, it is 80. A to B, it is 80 kilometers. B to C, it is 120 kilometers. And C to A, it is 160 kilometers. So this chart is ready. We can easily calculate now the absolute ton kilometers. So when talking about the absolute ton kilometers, from A to B, it is 80 kilometers into 20. From B to C, how many kilometers? 120 kilometers. They are carrying 12 metric tons. And from C to A, they are traveling 160 kilometers. So total, it will be 5,600 ton kilometer. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries first. Very good morning, Anirudh. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Yes, Vaibhav, Avinash, Shweta, any doubts? Mamta, any doubts? Sakshi? That's okay. Very good morning, Anmol. Any doubts, guys? Admin sir, are you there? Sir, the board is visible. Sir, please check that the notes are uploaded or not, please. Please. See, Gajendra, see these 20 metric tons started from station A. Now, 8 metric tons were unloaded. 8 metric tons were unloaded at B. So it means the number of metric tons transported from B to C is only 12. So 12 metric tons traveled for 120 kilometers. Total 20 metric tons traveled for 80 kilometers and 16 metric tons traveled for 160 kilometers. These 8 metric tons were unloaded at city B. That's why we have taken 12 metric tons from B to C. See, herein, when talking about the calculation of ton kilometer, very important, the tons that have traveled for so and so distance is considered. It will be in few minutes, wait. Now, when talking about the commercial part, it's very simple. That is total distance traveled into average weight. So when talking about the total distance traveled into average weight, so the total distance traveled is 80 plus 120 plus 160. 80 plus 120 plus 160 multiplied by average weight, that is 20 plus 12 plus 16 divided by. So this will be 360. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Further, I request you guys to please copy this explanation. Let's take one more question. Let's say a transportation industry is running total number of buses, total 6 buses. Number of days operating in a month. Further, the each and every bus is operating for 25 days in a month. Further, trips made by each bus every day, 8 trips. Distance traveled one way is, let's say, 20 kilometers, capacity of bus 40 passenger, and let's say average occupancy 80%. The average occupancy is 80%. So herein there are total number of six. See, there is a transportation company which is running a bus service between two towns, wherein the total number of buses what he is running is 6 buses, and these buses are working for 25 days in a month, and each and every bus makes 8 round trips. Each and every bus makes 8 round trips, and the distance traveled one way is 20 kilometers. And the capacity of the bus is 40 passengers, and the normal occupancy is 80%. So now we have to calculate kilometer and passenger for the month, for a month. So we have to calculate kilometers and passengers kilometer for a month. So let's start, guys. Now, very important, guys. The composite unit can be calculated using two ways, that is absolute and commercial. Now, when talking about which method to use when the question is silent, very important, guys, you have to always use absolute method. That is the weighted average. This simple average approach, or we can say commercial method, is to be used only when asked. So I repeat again, guys, if the question is silent, you have to always calculate passenger kilometer or ton mile using the weighted average approach, or we can say absolute way. So now the answers will be different because the approach is different, Tanishka. That is, the first absolute method is weighted average method, and the commercial method is simple average method. So we have calculated the metric ton kilometer in the first case. Now herein we have to calculate the kilometers and the passenger kilometer for a month. So let's start. Since the question is silent, we have to use the weighted average approach. Yes, Tanishka, what do the basis, why do both the bases have different answer? Reason being, the first method was a weighted average method, the second was the simple average method. So the answers will be different. Shweta, Maruti, can you be please more clear what you are asking? So now let's start. So since the question is silent, we'll be using the weighted average approach to calculate the passenger kilometer. Let's first calculate the kilometers traveled. So one way distance is how much? 20 kilometers. So in return journey, it will be how much? 20 kilometers. So a round trip is of how many kilometers? 40 kilometers. So every trip is of 40 kilometers. Now, total number of trips made by bus each day is 8 trips. So one trip is of 40 kilometers. One trip is of 40 kilometers, and each bus makes 8 trips in a day. Total number of buses are 6 and they run for 25 days in a month. I repeat again, one way distance is 20 kilometers. So the round trip distance is how much? 40 kilometers into total number of buses are 8 into total number of buses are 6 and each bus makes 8 round trip every day. So 8 into 6 into 25 days in a month. So this will be 40 into 48,000 kilometers. The best method to use is the weighted average method. If the question is silent, again you have to use the weighted average approach only, Shweta. Very good, Vijay. The answer is correct. Now, when talking about the calculation of passenger kilometer, see, again the same way, 20 kilometers a bus is traveling one way with how many passengers? Now, this is the point wherein we are calculating passenger kilometer. So, see, the seating capacity of the bus is 40 passengers. The seating capacity of the bus is 40 passengers. And on an average, the occupancy is 80%. So, we can say for 20 kilometers, 32 passengers are traveling. And in return journey also, for 20 kilometers, 32 passengers are traveling. In the onward journey also, see the seating capacity of the bus is 40 passengers. However, the average occupancy is only 80%. So we can say only 32 passengers are traveling in one-way trip. So 20 kilometers with 32 passengers. And in return journey also, they are traveling for 20 kilometers with 32 passengers. Into 8 trips in a day, into 6 buses, into 25 days in a month. So this will be 15 lakh. I'll be simplifying it also for your reference. 20 kilometers into 32 passengers. So 640 plus 640. So 1280 passengers are traveling. 1280 is the passenger kilometer for every trip, every bus. Into 8, into 6, into 25. So this will be 15 lakh 36,000. Very good, Mr. Buddy. It's a random question, Nancy. Very good, Anmol. Very good, Anmol. Very good, Kiran. Your answers are correct. Vijay Raghavan, correct answer. Shweta, hopefully your query is resolved. Again, I repeat, if the question is silent, we have to use the weighted average method, that is the absolute method. Even practically also, the company uses this weighted average method only. This approach is incorrect practically. I mean, Anmol, this is the best way to calculate the passengers kilometer. So I suggest you guys to use this approach to calculate the passenger kilometer or ton kilometer, whatever it is. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can please put up your query. Very good, Shweta. Shweta, hopefully your query is resolved relating to which method to use. So Gunjan Kumar, very simple. Total 20 kilometers, 32 passengers are traveling in onward journey. Again, in the return journey also, 20 kilometers, 32 passengers are traveling. So total for every trip, the passenger kilometer is 1280 for every trip. Every round trip. Every round trip, there are total 1280 passengers kilometer. Into every bus makes 8 trips in a day. Into total number of buses are 6 into 25 days in a month. Gunjan, I hope this part is clear now. Anmol, this is the best approach to calculate the passenger kilometers. I request you guys to please copy this explanation. So these 32 passengers, very simple. The seating capacity is 40 passengers and the average occupancy is 80%. 80% occupancy. The bus is not fully occupied. It is only 80% occupied on an average. This is 48,000 kilometers. Herein we are not considering the passengers. One way 20 kilometers, return also 20 kilometers. So every trip is of 40 kilometers. Into 8 trips in a day, into 6 buses, into 25 days in a month. So this is how I got 48,000. That is 20 plus 20, 40 into 8 into 6 into 25. The capacity of the bus is 40 passengers. However, bus is not fully occupied all the days. कभी 50% होता है, कभी 60% होता है, कभी 100% होता है occupied. So on an average, the management has estimated that it is 80% occupied on an average. So accordingly, we can say that 32 passengers are traveling on an average in a bus. Yes, Vaibhav and Gunjan, any doubts? Sakshi Jha, any doubts? This 32 passengers, 40 passengers is the capacity into the occupancy is 80%. That's why I'm taking 32 passengers. I request you guys to please copy this explanation. Passenger into kilometer means passenger kilometer. Manohar. Now let's take one more question. I request you guys to please post the answer. Total number of buses are 5 and they run for 24 days in a month. 3 trips in a day and the distance traveled one way is 25 kilometers. Further, when talking about the capacity of the bus, it is 50 passengers is the capacity. When talking about the occupancy, let's say in the onwards journey, the average occupancy is 80%, sorry, 90%, and in the return journey, it is 80%. I repeat again, the total number of buses are 5. The number of days operating in a month is 24 days. Trips made by each bus every day, 3 trips. Distance traveled one way is 25 kilometers. The capacity of the bus is 50% and the average occupancy in the onward journey. जाते वक्त the average occupancy is 90% and in the return journey it is 80%. You are required to calculate the kilometers and passenger kilometers. So waiting for your answers. Let's see किसको क्या समझ में आया है. And let's see who answers first. Waiting for your answers. So I have got answer from Divya. Divya is the first one to answer. Then I've received answer from Avinash and next is Anmol. So waiting for your answers. Other students, please do post your answers. Again, these people have posted only kilometers, not passenger kilometers. So Rohan Kumar is the first one to answer with the complete, is ready with the complete answer. That is, he has posted kilometers and passengers kilometers both. I've got answer from Anmol Patwa also. Let's see. Okay, so I've got answers from Buddy, Ajay, Harshita, Vaibhav, Gunjan, Kadambari, Avinash, Harish. So Sakshi, waiting for your answer. Shweta, waiting for your answer. Mr. Vijay Raghavan, waiting for your answer. Tanishka, Kiran Shukla, Ankur Patel, Divya. Okay, so I've got answer from Divya, Mr. Vijay Raghavan. Shweta, waiting for your answer, dear. Sakshi Jha, still I have not received your answer. Okay, so now I've got your answer also. So let me check. When talking about the kilometers, very simple. In the onward journey, it is 25 kilometers. And in the return journey, it is again 25 kilometers. Into total number of trips is 3. Number of buses are 5 and 24 days in a month. So I've got answer from Gomti, Nisha Kumari. Mr. Ankur Patel, I have not received answer. Mr. Anmol, again waiting for you to calculate the passenger kilometer. I've got answer from Gajendra Tiwari also. So this is 18,000 kilometers. When talking about passenger kilometer, see, for 25 kilometers in the onward journey, the passengers traveling are 50 into 90%. In the return journey, again for 25 kilometers, the passengers traveling are 50 into 80%. Into 3 trips in a day, into 5 buses, into 24. So this is 7,65,000. Twenty-five into 45. One 25 plus 1,000 into 3 into 5 into 24. This is how I got 7,60,000. As I told you, Anmol, use this approach. This is the best way to calculate the answer. So Gomti, very good. Vaibhav Sharma, very good. That's okay. Bhaskar, please check your answer. Ankur Patel, please check your answer. Harish Chandar, correct answer. Very good. Kiran, correct answer. Anmol, your answers are incorrect. Tanishka, very good. Gajendra, good. Nisha Kumari, very good. Miss Gomti, please check your answer. Kiran Shukla, correct answer. Sakshi Jha, correct answer. Mr. Badi, correct answer. Sai Divya, very good, correct answer. Mr. Vijay Raghavan, your answer was incorrect. Manohar Yadav, very good, correct answer. Harish Chander, Avinash Patil, Kadambari, Gunjan Kumar, everyone correct answer. Nancy Saxena, your answers are incorrect. Vaibhav Sharma, incorrect answer. Harshita, correct answer. Ajay Chauhan, correct answer. Rohan Kumar, very good, correct answer. I think Shweta, you are not thorough with the concept. Sushil Kumar, even I do expect answers from your end. Prashant Kumar, Mamta Yadav, you have not posted any answer. Okay, no worries. I request you guys to please copy this explanation. That's okay, Bhaskar. So this is the best way to calculate the answers. One more question, guys. A 10-tonner lorry transport coal from a mine to rail yard. A 10-tonner lorry transport coal from a mine to rail yard. Lorry carries full load in its onward journey. However, it returns empty. Distance traveled is 60 kilometers round trip. Lorry operates for full 30 days in a month, and every day it makes 4 round trips. So you are required to calculate the kilometers and ton kilometers for a lorry. You are requested to calculate the kilometers and ton kilometers for a lorry for a month. Yes, Divya, it is a very easy chapter. Bhaskar Trivedi, please recheck your answer. Your answer, I think, is incorrect. So I've got answer from Bhaskar. You are requested to calculate the kilometers and ton kilometers. Yes, Manohar. Manohar, it's same. Sorry, Manohar, it's the same. Okay, so I've got answer. 30 days in a month, Harish Chandra. So I've got answer from Avinash, Kiran Shukla. Mr. Buddy, please check. Mr. Buddy. Mr. Bundy, sorry. Quick, guys. So Mr. Vijay Raghavan, Ankur Patel, kilometers and ton kilometers. So Ankur is the first one to answer kilometers and ton kilometers. I need to check Ankur. Sai Divya, I've got answer from Sai Divya. Rohan Kumar, let me check. Giving you 3 to 4 minutes time. I request you guys to please post your answers. Yes, Shweta Maruti, you have not answered in the last question also. Waiting for your answer, Shweta. Okay, so Sakshi, I've got answer from Sakshi, Avinash, Tanishka. Let me check. So I have got different answers from more or less every student. So Nisha Kumari, sir, a 10-tonner lorry transport coal from a mine to rail yard. Lorry carries full load in its onward journey. However, it returns empty. The distance traveled is 60 kilometers for a round trip. Lorry operates for full 30 days in a month, and every day it makes 4 round trips. So I've got answer from Gajendra Tiwari also, Chetlapalli, Harshita also, Gomti also. Your answers are matching. Yes, Mr. Raghavan, even I do think so. I've got answer from Sai Divya. Yes, Anmol Patwa. I've got answer from Ajay Chauhan. Yes, Anmol Patwa, waiting for your answer. Vaibhav Sharma, I have not received answer from your end. Waiting for your answer, Vaibhav. So now when talking about the kilometers traveled, see the one-way trip is of 30 kilometers. See, I've written here round trip. Round trip means to and fro. That is onward plus return. So 30 kilometers one way, so 30 kilometers in the return journey. Into how many trips in a day? 4 round trips in a day into 30 days in a month. So this will be 60 into 4 into 30. So 7,200 kilometers is the correct answer. So very good, Anmol. Your answer is correct. Ajay Chauhan. Okay, so I've got answer from Harish, Vaibhav Sharma, Anmol Patwa. Let me check with the 10-kilometer part, please. Vijay Raghavan, please check your answer. Rohan Kumar, 7,200 kilometers is correct. Let me check the 10-kilometer part. So now, when talking about the onwards journey, they travel for 30 kilometers with full load, that is a full 10 tons. In the return journey, they travel for 30 kilometers with zero load into 4 into 30. So the correct answer will be 36,000 ton kilometer. Now let me check whose answer is correct. So Rohan, very good, your answer is correct. Rest everyone, 1 second, 36,000. Okay, so Harish Chander, your answer was correct. Very good, Harish. Gunjan Kumar, your answer was correct. Sai Divya, your answer was correct. And Mr. Bundy, your answer was correct. Rest everyone incorrect answer. I request you guys to please. Yes, Avinash, I think you have not posted any answer. Yes, Sakshi Jha, now your answer is correct. Kadambari, your answer is correct. That's okay. So whenever you see such type of question, I request you guys to please prepare that diagram and you can solve this question very easily. See, half of the work is done when you calculate the kilometers and ton kilometers correctly. So this is the best approach to calculate kilometers and ton kilometers if it is a transportation industry. Still, if you guys have any doubts, you guys can please post your queries. Mamta Yadav, I have not received any answers from you. Where are you, my dear? Very good, Gomti. Tanishka, your answers were incorrect. Please check. Tanishka, you posted 1800 kilometers. The distance is 7200 kilometers. Vaibhav Sharma, 1 second. Yes, Vaibhav, your answer was correct. That's okay, Bhaskar. Read the question carefully. See, it is a 10-tonner truck. Yes, any doubt, Tanishka, Anmol? Anmol, I think your answer was correct. Mr. Vijay Raghavan, Gomti, any doubts? Mamta Yadav, any doubts? Shweta, any doubts? Sakshi, Manohar, any doubts? I request you guys to please copy the question and the solution. Now, when talking about the basic format, when talking about the basic format of preparing service cost sheet, the format is very simple. That is, you have to bifurcate the cost in three parts: fixed cost, or we can say standing charges. Next is variable cost, or we can say running charges. And the last one is maintenance charges. So calculate the total fixed cost, calculate the total variable cost. This will be total A, this will be total B, and this will be total C. The total of A, B, and C will be the total cost. That is A plus B plus C divided by whatever the units are. We'll get the cost first. It can be either single unit or composite unit. It can be either passenger kilometer, ton kilometer, anything. So this is the basic format of service cost sheet. So we'll be following this format for the transportation industry. That's okay, Mamta. I request you guys to please copy this format for transportation industry. This is the service cost sheet. So the fixed cost or standing charges, that is the total fixed cost, the total variable cost or running charges, and the maintenance charges. We'll calculate the total of all these three. We'll get the total cost divided by units. We'll get the cost per units. These units can be either kilometers, passengers, tons, ton kilometers, passenger kilometers, whatever it is. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'll be back after 15 minutes with all the full-fledged questions on transportation industry. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. Welcome back, guys. So let's start with a full-fledged question. I'll be discussing illustration number 3 from the study material. I request you guys to please open your study material. I'm discussing illustration number 3 from study material. I request you guys to please open your study material. I'm discussing illustration number 3, page number 12.15. So ABC Transport Company has given a route of 40 kilometers long to run a bus. The bus cost the company a sum of rupees 10 lakh. It has been insured at the rate of 3% per annum. The annual tax will amount to rupees 20,000. The garage rent is 20,000 per month. Annual repairs are 2 lakh 4,000. The bus is likely to last for 2.5 years. The driver's salary will be 30,000 per month and the conductor's salary will be 25,000 per month. In addition to 10% of the takings as commission to be shared by drivers and conductors equally. Cost of stationery will be 1,000 per month. The manager cum accountant salary is 17,000 per month. Petrol and oil will be 500 rupees per 100 kilometer. The bus will make 3 up and down trips carrying on an average 40 passengers on each trip. The bus will run on an average 25 days in a month. Assuming 15% profit on takings, calculate the bus fare to be charged per passenger kilometer. So let's start. Now we can either prepare a monthly cost statement also, or we can prepare an yearly cost statement. So both the approaches are correct. So let's start with service cost sheet, or we can say statement of cost. So we'll first start with the standing cost, that is standing charges. So the insurance is 3% of the value of bus. The value of bus is 10 lakh rupees. Into 3%. So this will be 30,000. The annual tax amounts to rupees 20,000. So the annual tax is 20,000. Carriage rent is 20,000 per month. Two lakh 40,000. Now, annual repairs is 2,04,000. So it will form part of maintenance charges. So I'll be taking this part separately. The bus is likely to last for 2.5 years. So we'll take So we'll get the depreciation per year. That is 4 lakh. Now the driver and conductor salary, see 30,000 is the driver salary and conductor salary is 25,000. Further, they are getting the commission also on takings, that is the total revenue. So either you can keep the fixed part in the fixed cost and variable part in the variable cost, or else you can keep it 100% variable cost also. So it's up to you. So I'm taking the fixed salary in the fixed cost and variable commission. I'll be taking this in variable cost or running cost. The conductor salary is 25,000 rupees per month. Further, the cost of stationery is 1,000 per month. Manager cum accountant salary is 17,000 per month. Thereafter, the details of petrol and oil is given. So this is a variable cost. So this much is all what about fixed cost. So we'll get the total fixed cost. So this will be 15 lakh 60. So this is all what about fixed cost. Now let's start with the variable cost or running cost. Now here in the first cost is petrol and oil cost, and it is rupees 500 per 100 kilometers traveled. So we have to first calculate the number of kilometers. So herein it is given in the question, the ABC Transport Company has been given a route of 40 kilometers long. So to run a bus, so 40 kilometers one way plus 40 kilometers in the return journey, into number of trips in a day. It is given in the question that the bus will make 3 up and down trips. So 3 up and down trips, 3 trips in a day, into it will run for 25 days in a month. Since this cost is, we have taken the yearly cost, so into 12 months in a year. So this is how we will get the total kilometers. So 80 into 3 into 25 into 12. So this is 72,000 kilometers. Now herein we can easily calculate the petrol and oil cost. Total distance traveled is 72,000. And it is given in the question that petrol and oil will be rupees 500 for every 100 kilometers. So for every 100 kilometers, it will be rupees 500. Rupees 500 for every 100 kilometers. So this will be 3,60,000. Apart from this, the driver's commission and the conductor commission, this is to be, that is, it is yet to be calculated. So we'll calculate this separately. So these are the 3 variable costs. Now, the maintenance charges, so the total of these 3 will be total B. Now the maintenance charges, herein in question the repairs are given, that is 2 lakh 4. Annual repairs are given, that is 2 lakh 4,000. This is how we'll get the total cost, that is total cost A plus B plus C. Now these 2 figures are missing, that we need to calculate the total cost. However, in question the information is given, 1 second guys. Now, herein this information is given in the question that the driver's salary will be 30,000 per month and the conductor salary will be 25,000 per month in addition to 10% of the taking. Herein, when the word taking, it means the revenue. 10% of the revenue as commission. So, of the total revenue, 10% we have to pay to the driver and conductor. Further, it is the last line, assuming 15% profit on takings. So, herein, of the total revenue, 10% we have to we have to give it to driver and conductor. Of the total revenue, 15% is the profit. So balance 75% will be what? My total cost. So calculation of total takings, or we can say revenue. So herein, my cost till now is how much? The total cost, that is 15,66,000. The total cost, that is 15,66,000 plus 3,60,000 my variable cost plus 2,04,000. 21,30,000. This is 75%. In this, we need to add the total commission. That is how much? 10%. In this, we need to add the profit also. That is how much? 15%. So we will get the total revenue, or we can say takings or revenue. And this will be 100%. So let's assume that the total revenue is 100%, 15% is the profit, 10% is the commission. So balance 75% will be what? My cost. So how much will be the total revenue? 21,30,000 is equals to 75. So how much will be 100? 100 will be 28,40,000. See, I repeat again, let's assume that the revenue be 100%. Total revenue be 100%. It means profit is how much? 15% of the takings or 15% of the revenue. So, further the commission is 10% of this revenue. So, balance 75% will be what? My total cost, that is the cost as calculated. So, this will be 28,40,000. 2,84,000 is my commission. And 4,26,000 is my profit. So 2,84,000 is to be shared equally. This will be 1,42,000. This will be 1,40,000. This will be 6,44,000. So the total revenue. So this is how the total cost will be calculated. Now, herein we are required to calculate the fare to be charged per passenger per kilometer. So we need to calculate the passenger kilometers also. So herein, in the onward journey of 40 kilometers, the number of passengers traveled are how much? 40. In the return journey also, it is of 40 kilometers and the passengers traveled are 40. Into 3 trips in a day, into 25 days in a month, into 12. This will be 28 lakh 80,000. So since we have got the total revenue, so we can easily write fare per passenger kilometer. That is 28 lakh 40,000 is the total revenue divided by 28 lakh 80,000. Further, if you guys see, the question is asking this much only. If you want to calculate the one-way trip fare, see, I have got the fare per passenger per kilometer. So if you guys want to calculate the fare one way, if you guys want to calculate the fare one way, see, one way distance is 40 kilometers into the fare per passenger per kilometer is how much? 0.9861. So you guys have, I mean, the company has to charge 39 rupees 44 paisa from every passenger for one-way trip. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. Waiting for your queries, guys. Stationary cost is fixed, Mamta. I request you guys to please copy this explanation. Assuming the total revenue is 100%, the profit is 15%, the commission will be 10%, and the total cost will be remaining 75%. See, it's very simple. We have got the total cost, that is 21,30,000. Now, here in question, there are 2 points that are given, that is profit and second is commission. So let's assume that the total revenue is 100. Let's assume that the total revenue is 100%. So how much will be the profit? Very simple, 15%. See, let's assume that the total revenue is 100. So how much will be the profit? It is 15% of the total revenue or total takings. How much will be my commission? How much will be the commission? That is 10%. How much is the commission? That is 10% of the total revenue. So how much will be my cost? See, 100 is the total revenue, minus 10% is the profit, minus, sorry, 10% is the commission and 15% is the profit. So balance 75% will be what? My remaining cost. So 21,30,000 is my remaining cost, which is equals to 75% of the total revenue. So this is 75%. So how much will be 100%? 28,40,000. This is what my total revenue. Yes, Anmol, the taking is what they are. I mean, the taking word is used for total revenue or total sales. Anyone else having any doubts or queries can please post your query. Gomti, any doubts? Vijay, any doubt? Vijay Raghavan, Kadambari, Bhaskar, Avinash, Ankur, Ajay, Divya, Sai Divya, Harish, any doubts? Sakshi Jha, hopefully your query is resolved. Vaibhav Sharma, any doubts? Gunjan Kumar, any doubts? Sakshi, Mamta Yadav, hopefully all your queries are resolved. Yes, Sakshi and Mamta. I request you guys to please take the screenshot of example number 4. Due to some technical issues, the material is not uploaded. So I request you guys to please download, take the screenshot of example number 4. The material will be uploaded in 10 to 15 minutes. So till that time, I request you guys to please take the screenshot of example number 4. Manish sir, आप इसको पूरा full screen पे कर देंगे? I request you guys to please take the screenshot of example number 4. Mr. Bundy, no, stationery is a fixed cost. Yes, Avinash, the normal cross multiplication rule, my dear. I request you guys to please take the screenshot of example number 4. So let's start with example number 4, wherein the Global Transport Limited charges rupees 90 per ton for its 6-ton truck lorry load from city A to city B. The charges for the return journey are 84 per ton. No concession or reduction in these rate is made for any delivery of goods at intermediate station C. So there is a lorry and the capacity of lorry is 6 tons. For the onwards journey, they are charging rupees 90 per ton. And for the return journey, they are charging 84 per ton. There is an intermediate station C, wherein if there is an unloading, if there is any unloading in station C, then they are not offering any sort of discount. So now in January 2020, the truck made 12 outwards journey for city B with a full load, out of which 2 tons were unloaded twice on the way at city C. The truck carried a load of 8 tons in its return journey for 5 times, but was once caught by police and paid 1200 rupees as fine. For the remaining trips, the truck carried full load, out of which all goods on load were unloaded once at city C. But it returned without any load once, returned without any load once only from city C to A. The distance from A to C and city B are 140 and 300 kilometers respectively. Annual fixed cost and maintenance charges are 60,000 and 12,000 respectively. Running charges are 2944 for the month of January. You are required to calculate the cost per absolute ton kilometer and profit for January 2020. So let's start with this question. So since there are 3 cities involved, so we have to again prepare the diagram. This material will be available in 15 to 20 minutes over the portal. So let's start with example number 4, calculation of absolute again. Even if the question is silent, you have to calculate absolute ton kilometer. That is the weighted average approach. No need to use that simple average approach because it's incorrect. Simple average approach, or we can say commercial approach, is to be used only when asked. So let's start. So see, there are 3 stations involved: A, B, and C. A to C, C to B, from B again to C, and from C to A. This is what given in question. Now in January 2020, the truck made 12 outwards journey. See, the capacity of the lorry is 6 tons. So they made 12 outward journeys. So 12 into 6, 72 tons were transported from A to C. That is 12 journeys into 6 tons. So total 72 tons were transported from A to C. However, it is given in the question that with full load, out of which 2 tons were unloaded twice in the way at city C. It means what? At city C, out of 72 tons, they unloaded 4 tons. That is 2 tons plus 2 tons. So 4 tons were unloaded at city C. So it means the balance will be transported from C to B. That is 68 tons. I repeat again, of the 72 tons started, of the 72 tons that started from city A, 4 tons were unloaded at city C and the balance tons were sent to city B. Now in the return journey, so return journey will also be 12 times. So in the return journey, the truck carried a load of 8 tons for the 5 times. So out of the 12 journey, for 5 times they carried 8 tons. It means what? For 5 times they carried how many tons? 8 tons. So 40 tons. B से C गया और C से A भी पूरे 40 tons चला गया. So out of 12 journey, in 5 journeys, they carried how many tons? 8 tons. So balance 7 journey, they are saying, for the remaining trips, the truck carried a full load, out of which all the goods on load were unloaded at city C. So for the 7 trips, for the remaining 7 trips, they carried full load. For the remaining 7 trips, they carried full load. That is total goods loaded from city B is how much? 7. For 7 trips, it is 6 tons every trip. So it is 42 tons. Of these 42 tons, once all the 6 tons were unloaded at city C and from city C to A, it returns empty. So it means what? Out of 42 tons, the total tons transported from city C to A is only 36 tons. Because of 42 tons, 6 tons were unloaded at city C. It means the balance tons, that is 36 tons, were only transported from city C to A. So herein, when talking about the total tons transported, it is 76 tons. And herein we can say it is 82 tons. Further, the distance between A to C is 140 kilometers. And A to B, it is 300. It means the balance will be 160 kilometers. So in return also 160 kilometers and 140. So now मैंने सिर्फ question लिख लिया है board पे. That's it. Now the question, I have written it over the board. Now we can easily write the solution. So A to C, C to B, B to C, and C to A. So A to C, 72 tons were 72 into 140. From C to B, 68 tons traveled for 160 kilometers. From B to C, 82 tons traveled for 160 kilometers. And from C to A, 76 tons traveled for 140 kilometers. So total ton kilometers will be 44,720. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. The question is a bit tricky, but yes, if you read the question carefully, you can easily solve this question. Follow the steps, prepare the diagram, you can solve any questions. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can please post your queries. In this calculation of absolute ton kilometer, if you guys have any doubts, you guys can please post your queries. See, Mamta, I repeat again. एक ट्रक है जो स्टेशन ए से स्टार्ट होता है और बी पे जाता है, बट बीच में एक स्टेशन आता है सी. The distance from A to C is 140 kilometers, C to B it is 160 kilometers. So return also it will be the same. Now the truck start total number of journeys जो ट्रक ने किया है वो है 12 journeys and the capacity of the truck is 6 tons. It means when talking about A, it starts with 6 tons for 12 journey, that is 72 tons. Of this, 4 tons were unloaded at city C. 2 tons were unloaded. 2 tons were unloaded. It means total 4 tons were unloaded. 4 tons हमने खाली कर दिया सिटी सी में. So C से B कितना गया? Only 68 tons. That is 72 tons minus 4 tons. 68 tons were only transported from city C to city B. Now in the return journey, see total 12 journeys were the onward journey. So return journey भी हमारा 12 होगा. उसमें से 5 journeys they carried 8 tons in the truck. Truck का capacity 6 tons का है, but they carried 8 tons. So for the 5 journey they carried 8 tons. It means B से C 40 tons गया और C से A भी 40 tons गया. In short, from B to A total 40 tons गया. Now for the remaining 7 journeys, that is out of 12, 5 is done. Or for remaining 7 journey, they carried a full load of 6 tons. So full load of 6 tons. It means 7 into 6, 42 tons उन्होंने carry किया. But out of these 42 tons, 6 tons इन्होंने एक बार C पे offload कर दिया. Unloaded 6 tons at city C. So balance only 36 tons were transported from city C to A. So this is how I got 36 tons. So now we are ready with 76 tons, 82 tons, 68 tons and 72 tons. Distance is given in the question. I can easily calculate the total ton kilometer. Sometimes they do. So herein now we can easily prepare the statement of cost. That is, when talking about the calculation of fixed cost are 60,000 for the year. So this is what the statement of cost. Now the penalty paid will never form part of cost. Any sort of abnormal cost will never form part of cost. So this penalty is what? An abnormal cost. It will never form part of cost statement. So statement of profit we can prepare also. When talking about the total revenue in the onwards journey, 72 tons, 90 rupees. And in the return journey, total tons transported were 82 and the fare is 84. Even if they offload few tons at City C, they are not offering any sort of concession. So no concessional rates are offered even though some goods are unloaded at City C. So the total revenue will be how much? $13,368 minus the cost we have already calculated, that is 8944 minus the penalty. It will form part of, it will be deducted from the profit. That is 1200. So the profit will be 3224. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can please post your query. Yes, Anmol. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can please post your query. I'm done with the explanation part. Giving you 2 minutes time to post your queries, guys. So, Vijay Raghavan, any doubts? So, done with this question. I request you guys to solve few questions of study material. That is some practical questions and illustration relating to transportation industry. Tomorrow we'll be discussing few more practical questions on transportation industry plus many more, there are other industries also will be covering. So I request you guys to please revise. 1 second, there are few queries. Yes, the cost will be 8944. Cost per absolute ton kilometer will be 8944 divided by 44,720. So this will be 0.2. Tanishka sir, how come 72 and 82 in the onwards journey? So these are the tons that are transported from city A. Originally transported from city A. So this is how I got 72. And when talking about city B, these are the tons that are started from city B or loaded at city B, that is 82 tons. So this is how I got 82 tons. Tanishka. So thank you so much, guys, for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. I'll be discussing many more questions on transportation industry and other industries. So be prepared, revise what I have discussed in today's session. So thank you so much, guys. God bless you.